Three, two, one, and we're live. Welcome back to Conversations with. This is your weekly update from the Beat the Boss James Smith Academy Challenge. And we're into our week 11 updates. So we have one more week next week when the challenge ends. And so this is the penultimate week. We're a little bit short of the challenges this week, so we're going to be hopefully keep the podcast down to a nice and short time for you. And we're just going to jump in with our updates. Then we're going to talk about body image issues, Instagram filters, and we're also going to talk about what health guidance is for your actual weight and how we disagree with that. So let's just start. We're going to start with Lauren, who is still at work.
Things are really good. I really kind of buckled down and kind of now that work is full in swing for me and schools are back open by me in the States, work has a more regular flow, so I can figure out like when I was going to train, when I was going to get to the gym, packing my food, like all that stuff. My days are a little bit more regular. But I'm super excited between last week into this week. I have this week, it's the last week of the challenge. I'm 3 pounds away from my goal. So I think I'll hit it. But what's really striking me is I hit this weight in January and then put some weight back on. And I look at the pictures of me now versus when I hit this weight the last time in January. And like body composition is just completely different because I wasn't doing as much with weights then. It was more the diet piece, and I just look a lot different. It's not even better or worse, it's just different but it's the same weight, which is, I've never had that happen before, which was really interesting. But yeah, just keeping focus for this last week. I really thought for a while there in the middle of the challenge I was losing like a pound, and I was like, I'm never gonna hit it, it's never gonna happen. But you really do just have to wait out some of those plateaus and just like keep ticking away at it, and your body catches up. And so I'm pretty happy about that. And everything's good.
Well done. Okay. Sounds like, yeah, you definitely get there.
As far as my book goal, I wanted to read a book a week. So I was a minimum of 12 books for the challenge. That was like a side thing I did for myself. And I've done more than that. And this week, if I finish, I'm almost done with one, and I have a smaller one I threw on. It'll be 20. I read 20 during the challenge. So I'm pretty happy with that.
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
I mean, some of them are not that big. They're like, they were not challenging books to like buzz through, or they were like, just the way they were written, it was more list style or quote style. So it wasn't as tedious as you'd think. That really, really helped keep me on track it really definitely helped with my motivation and keeping me on track for this challenge.
Well, Lauren, I don't know if you listened back to last week's, but we actually mentioned that we thought that maybe that as a goal is really positive because what you've probably learned from some of those books and the discipline of doing that has kept you on track with everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we all really respected that as a goal.
Yeah, massively.
So,
It was just nice because every week when I started to have like a hiccup or something kind of hit me or like whatever, something I was reading would like hit that or like tap into that a little bit and even indirectly. And it was enough to kind of be like, okay, just keep going, just especially when I didn't have people around and stuff like that. So.
Brilliant. Yeah, well done. And, 3 pounds, easy work, as they say.
As I sit here I'm not even joking, one of the teachers dropped off all these mini candies on my desk, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
But also, thank you.
Right.
Don't tell us that, because we'll say, is there a bin look close? Come put them in it.
Right.
just the wrappers. You can leave the others.
Right.
Cool. Well, thank you, Lauren. Nikki?
So last week my centimetre lost goal, and I wasn't ready to celebrate because I didn't really believe it. But yes, I've still hit it this week. I lost another half a centimetre. So again, like I had a little bit of a plateau, and it just going little by little, but it's gone, which is exciting. So yeah, I can definitely celebrate that now. Yep, definitely. I definitely need some new work trousers. I found they kind of start falling down without a belt. So yeah, that's good and positive, I'm sure. what else? I've kept up my steps, so that's all going. And had a few long walks this weekend, which is lovely. And pull-ups are coming along, still coming along. Yeah, not much of an update. I think. I don't know what I've done.
No, not much to say. I've just confirmed that a centimetre goal, and I've taken another half a centimetre off. Yeah, that's brilliant.
I say it's not for half on Yuri's as well when you were in the jeans out.
That was
mad.
great.
Unreal.
They were never meant to be skinny jeans. They were always meant. They were the jeans I had a fit at because they were a size bigger than I'd normally buy, and I just sucked up and went, "No, I fucking love them. I'm going to bloody buy them." H&M are a bastard for sizing, so I love them jeans, and now I really don't fit in them. They really just all down. But yeah, no, that was quite fun. That was really fun doing that. But yeah, now it does mean to need to stop buying more shit to fit into. But no, it's good. It's exciting.
I think that's a really good thing to do. Actually, is the getting the old clothes out, because Sam Payne did it on her podcast, and she got them out, and it was like, oh my god, like you've seen that, and I've seen other people do that since off the back of that, doing that, and it's like a real like sense of achievement. I think to feel that you've lost that much weight. And
I have a picture. If way back somewhere on my Instagram, I have a picture of jeans from like 2 or 3 summers ago that were a size 24, and I'm in one pant leg and my daughter's in the other pant leg.
Wow.
Amazing.
The great shot. She was like, "I think we could both fit." I was like, "Yeah, let's try it," and we both like jammed into it. It was great.
That's amazing. So cool.
So well done, Nikki. A couple more days and you can celebrate properly.
Yeah.
So Shannon.
I have surpassed my thrusters goal.
Yay.
Well done.
I had reached my target on Friday, and then I decided to go to Team WOD on Saturday. And I had told you what the WOD was, but we ended up doing 105 thrusters in 10 minutes. So my legs now, I can't feel them. I didn't do any yesterday and I didn't do any today, but I went out for a walk today because I'm very, very hungover still 2 days later. So I'm like wrapped now in my comforter, but other than that, no, I enjoyed myself at the weekend. We won. Well, my club won the county title of our rivals that was going for 3 in a row. So there was lots of celebrations had on Saturday night.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound like you at all, Shannon.
I actually finished drinking pretty early. I think I finished about 3-4 o'clock.
Yesterday?
No, on Sunday morning.
Today?
Sunday morning, but I didn't get out of my bed yesterday until like 5 o'clock. I was so badly hungover.
Oh, darling.
Oh well.
You've met your goals. That's the main thing.
Yeah. I don't think there's been too many weeks that I've been on the podcast and I haven't been hungover.
I was going to say, you are pretty much resident alcoholic.
I remember one.
I was texting Andrea the other day and I was like, I feel like JSA's made me an alcoholic, and she was like, no, Shannon, I think that it's just added to your problem.
Yeah. Well, you've hit your goal, so that's brilliant. Well done. And 105 thrusters in 10 minutes.
It's crazy. And that was the second part of the WOD. The first part was wall balls, box over burpee or box step overs, and then devil presses. So yeah, can't feel my legs.
Yeah, I bet. It's, as he says in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
So you don't have any legs. That's not a dig at your height, by the way.
She didn't think so, but now she does.
Yeah.
Although Shannon, are you? Did I offend you the other day when I corrected you that you're actually an inch shorter than you thought you were?
No.
So,
Too stupid.
so I'm good because I'm almost 5 foot, 4 or whatever it was, and I'm 5'3" 3/4. I was actually Shannon, you're 5'2" 3/4. It's just it's the
I
kid
can't
version. So, well, no, all
Oh,
good. Well done in your thrusters.
Thank
Chris?
you.
Yeah, I've come to the end of my challenge because I started on the Monday, so I finished mine yesterday, and I'm happy to say that I finished on 1.375 million steps. My target was 1.26, so I'm about 115 over. So I just kept it going last week, even though I hit it. So I just kept it going. So I think for me, for this challenge, as much as the side goal was to lose 5 kilos, it wasn't so much about being in a deficit of food. It was more about a deficit by upping the activity to see how that interacted with being in a maintenance, and it worked. So I was trying not to, because I understand when the likes of Paul's come on, for example, and said that he's really struggling being in a deficit for so long, over 12 weeks. I didn't want to do that this time. I just felt I want to eat what I want to eat, but I'll just up my activity level to see how my body reacts. And it still had the same outcome, just by upping my activity. So I managed to do the 5 kilo loss as well as all the steps. And I think I'm just going to keep it going now. I don't want to break it. So I've now done day 85. I've done 17,500 today. So I'm kind of thinking I don't want to stop now. It's kind of, I think it helps that Debbie's hitting a, was that?
It's about getting habits.
That's massive. I think back now to March, April time and think, how did I never hit 10,000 steps a day? How's that possible not to do that now? So I don't know if I'll drop down to 10,000 again, but I'll be happy if I go between 10 and 15 a day. I'll just kind of keep trunking along at that. But Debbie's doing a side challenge for herself, where she's trying to do 20,000 steps a day for a year. So 365 days a year for the year. And she's already brought her average down to 19,000 a day. So the fact that she's doing that, it makes me go, right, I'll go out a walk as well. Because I think you're the same, Nikki.
5,000 a day on Christmas Day.
That's what she's doing. She's doing like 25 to 30,000 a day to try and account for days that she might not be able to do any. So she might have a sick day or Christmas Day or whatever. So she's trying to help that average by doing that. And because she's doing that, it's helping me go, I'll come a walk too. So I end up just going out for a walk and getting my steps in at the same time. But I'm wanting to try and take up cycling again because I just started doing that last year. And I think the steps will have to take an impact on something if I start doing the cycling. So
Unless you get a flat.
Yeah, just walk up down the stairs.
I honestly thought unless
No,
you
I
get
know, I mean a
fat is
flat
what you
tyre.
said.
All right, a flat tire. Right? I thought you meant get a
I
flat
honestly
in an
thought
apartment.
unless you get fat. Fucking hell, I was
No, I'm not that cruel.
vicious.
No, a flat tyre.
Sorry.
Unless you get fat and can't move off your fat
I was
arse
really
again.
on the
That's
fuck
just...
money.
Yeah, you're right. Unless I got a flat, yes.
Yeah.
Flat.
Yeah.
Flat. I thought you meant an apartment. Flat.
No.
They don't need to walk.
No, but I think losing your 5 kilograms, still being at maintenance, you've proved that to yourself. Then that's brilliant. And
it was tough to. It was still tough to do because we all know I had that week where I just didn't want to do anything. I just felt like shit, and I had a week off for my holiday as well where I didn't do the gym, but I still did my steps. So I'm only 8 workouts behind for the 48 that I wanted to do throughout the 84-day challenge. So I've averaged about 3.5 workouts a week, which I'm more than happy with. I'll take that.
That's so brilliant, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's like you said, you've built those habits now. So
yeah. So I'm having a beer to celebrate.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay, well, my update. This challenge, I've not been consistent at anything. I have lost some weight. I have got. I feel like I'm on top of, like, CFD is probably my win, but workouts have been terrible. I've been seeking new challenges, seeking new things to motivate me. I mean, I've been to boxing every week, and I'm loving doing that. But last week was really tough for me. I went to some tough places last week. I dealt with some stuff in my life that I had to deal with, and I felt that it kind of all aligned with starting work today, was kind of just closing a lot of doors and start being able to start afresh. So kind of written off the challenge, a little bit, but I dealt with a lot of stuff. I achieved quite a lot last week. It just meant I had to go to some tough places. But the support that I got from everybody, the check-ins from you all, the tough messages from Paul, like go out for a walk, see you and T. Listening to a Joe Rogan podcast about wrongful conviction, just that, actually listening to that podcast put a lot of things in perspective. And that kind of helped. And each day I felt like I was slowly coming back out the other side. I had a really relaxing weekend. I weighed myself this morning and I put on 5 kilograms, but I think that must be water weight, and maybe just holding on to a lot of stuff. So I'm sure that'll come back down throughout this week. But I am in a much better place today. What last week did do for me, though, was it got my steps back up, and it made me realise just how good walking is. We discussed that, I think, last week on the podcast, and I've kept that going today. Made sure I got out for my walk this morning, went out for a walk at lunchtime, when I was back at work. But I feel mentally clear to go and deal with, going forward now. So that's my kind of focus for this week, is just to be not going to be too tough on myself for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to just, because I feel like I always go all or nothing, and it's always got to be big and chunky, and it's like, do you know what, let's just try and like Chris, like Lauren with the reading, and it's just try and create some consistency and create good habits. So I've got the Daily Stoic to read courtesy of Nikki. That is going to help me build a habit. Inspired by Chris to do my steps and get out every morning, and go and see the sunrise. And it's all those things that just makes you realize that there is beauty in a lot of things in life. And standing on top of the hill in the morning and seeing the sun come up over the city, and that was quite, is magical the right word? Yeah, why not? Let's use that word. It's just seeing those simple things, and then sitting on the top and reading that one page of Daily Stoic, and then getting on and coming back down and I was in the right frame of mind to go and tackle the day at work, my first day back at work. So it was a really tough week. I was close to tears at some point. Felt like I was under a lot of rejection, and that impending doom, and I didn't deal with things the right way. Some days I went out and got absolutely smashed again, and I had to really sort of grab hold of myself on Friday and was like, right, no, and I got a lot of positive comments from you guys about how I was treating myself, like viewing myself wrongly, and but I also think I'm a great believer that sometimes weeks like that or maybe the last 3 or 4 weeks, it was sent for the right reasons. And maybe it was all meant to line up with today of the new bag, the new pencil case, the big restart. So I feel ready to go and take it on slowly and steadily this time.
I think the good thing is as well, though, Alice, you've got to think, if this happened, if that wobble you had last week and the dark place you had to go to last week happened 12 months ago, would you have got out of it as quick as you did this time round? So you've came a further journey now to be able to get out of that kind of turn down quicker.
Absolutely.
Than if it happened 12 months ago, you might have been in that for a month rather than a week.
Yeah, you're right.
Consistency. Look at the podcast that you've started and kept going. Look at how much you've come along in your business. The website, look at your emails. Those are great things that you've done.
And all
you
of us
can't
speaking
forget
once
that.
a week.
Yeah.
All of us speaking every single week. We're all in a group chat now. You created that. You made that happen, and we now know more people within GSA and further afield because of what you created.
Yeah. Some of us are having to go up to fucking Edinburgh to see these bastards. No, but
which will be epic.
I know. John's up there at the moment.
So
you've done a huge amount.
Yeah, it's. I'm always quite good at doing things sometimes and not realizing that sometimes I'm doing it for myself. But yeah, you guys sort of pulled me on it and was like, you're so critical of yourself. I expect the best of myself all the time, and sometimes I don't realize what I'm doing. And that was the biggest learning for myself was actually I'm okay. You know, I believe in myself. I'm confident. There's lots of good things going on. It was, I just think I had to get, and it wasn't just so much. I just had some stuff I needed to deal with in order to move forward. Like I said, I had to close those doors.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I closed them, and I closed them in quite eventually in an adult way, and it was quite calming to do that. It was quite like, okay, do you know what? We're ready to start the next chapter.
Closure.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, it was a bit of closure on some stuff, and
Yeah.
what the future will bring, who knows? But yeah, I'm just gonna go about my life and keep doing the stuff I was doing. Take a lot of the learnings. It wasn't all doom and gloom about what I thought about the challenge, but I just felt that probably actually my biggest win in the challenge is I've learned to be okay with me.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a pretty fucking epic one.
Yeah.
So then
It's a big thing to achieve.
It's not it's not always about your body or your weight, or sometimes there's get that right, and so ready to take on the world.
At the start of this challenge, it ended up being more of a mental challenge for me than anything, and I've met my thrusters during it, but it's been more of a mental journey, this challenge, than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've always spoken about that, but I don't think I've ever spent so long, because it's been a bit each week. It's been there bubbling away. I don't think I've spent so long working on that and battling myself sometimes. I mean, I went for a swim yesterday, and I can swim. I can do open water swimming. I've done 5 kilometers open water. I've done 700 meters in. I was starting to having a panic attack. My brain, one half of my brain was saying, and this is pretty dark thought, was today is the day you die. You will drown in this water today. And I was like, no. The other half of my brain was saying, no, you won't. And then I was like, okay, pulled my toe float, take some breaths. And I just thought, get out of the water. Don't push that thought. Because there's sometimes I'll push that dark thought, and I'll push the dark thought. But I was like, do you know what? Today is not your day to be in this water swimming. It was get out. And because otherwise, would I go back? Whereas I got out, understood it. And I felt fine afterwards. It was a combination of things. My stroke wasn't too great. I wasn't, I hadn't much sleep. I'd had a real tough week.
You weren't in the place for it, but you carried on and you did it anyway.
Yeah, definitely not in the place. I didn't realise I wasn't in the place till I was in there. Till I was in 60 meters deep water. That maybe it was a realization. Yes, you could die in here today, Alistair, but let's not make that happen. It wasn't I wanted to. It wasn't I thought of it. It was just I was having this internal dialogue, and I was like, right, logical sense. Hold your toe float. Take deep breaths. Focus on what's around you, and remind yourself you can swim. You're actually a competent swimmer. So why would you drown in here today? You wouldn't. But
what you just said sounds really interesting. It's exactly how I feel when I get in the period of anxiety. I can have logical. Brain has always been scientific. A cold hard facts. That's it. Accept it. Move on. There's a logical side of my brain that says you don't need to worry about this. That's not going to happen, or you can't control it, so don't fucking worry. But then anxiety goes, oh well, but logically I can tell myself there's no need for that. Like logically, you're saying I'm not going to drown. I know how to swim, but it gets and attacks you. And Paul said something great. He said
James and Ferris had on the latest Fair Points podcast, isn't it? About like the sharks and water versus skateboarding.
I didn't hear. I've not caught up with him yet.
Oh, okay, then I won't spoil it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and Paul said something great, isn't it? it's about feeling it. It's not always about avoiding it. It's about accepting it, sort of letting yourself feel it. Like you realizing you're in that place, so you're not quite prepared, you're not quite ready to swim, but going, right, okay, that's enough, I've done, I'm out. That's just interesting. But
it was also, I took that as, yes, you have been very stressed this week.
Yes,
To put you in
somebody
that
telling
place,
you to stop. Yeah,
it was like, actually, and then I went and just did some completely, I went for lunch, I went for a walk. I didn't feel this anxiety afterwards. I thought I was going to feel it all day. I didn't. It was almost like a release at that point.
that's good. It's your body telling you to stop then, isn't it? So
yeah, and I just went and had a peaceful afternoon, walked, enjoyed the sunshine.
that's great.
So yeah, it's so as much as I'm like, this challenge has been a mess up, it's not. I've had some massive learnings, and that's what it's about sometimes. And I have lost the weight. Well, if this 5 kilograms of water weight disappears, that I've suddenly appeared overnight, but that was that doesn't help you fucking. When you're feeling like that, and you're like, oh, just finding an excuse, not good. So Rhiannon's joined us again, because Rhiannon was our inspiration for our topic of discussion. So Rhiannon, we've just given our update, so kind of where we are with the challenge. Do you want to give a bit of an update where you are with your kind of journey? And
yeah, well, to be fair, the thing I was doing like ran parallel with the challenge, so I'm at the end of that as well. And actually, similar to you, like it's been more about learning that I'm in a better place and how to handle different things more so than actually weight loss this time. Although I have lost some weight, although if I stand on the scales today, it doesn't tell that story, but I've just had a week off on holiday, so I'm okay with that. And I enjoyed every single calorie that I ate, and I wouldn't even be able to tell you how many that was. So
Maintenance. It was maintenance.
Yeah, so I didn't track, but I averaged at maintenance. But the difference being, I got back off holiday Saturday, went to the gym yesterday, went to the gym today, started tracking my calories again today, which actually, if I go back 10, 12 weeks, I probably wouldn't have done. So I'd say that's a massive win for me, is actually just being able to just get straight back on it, enjoy the times that I want to enjoy, and then counteract that. Because I remember the challenge I did around my birthday, it took me 3 weeks to get back to doing workouts and counting calories, and actually to be able to just do that, flip straight back into that, was really positive.
Well done. Yeah, because you should be able to go away and enjoy your holiday.
Yeah, for sure.
And it looked like an awesome holiday.
I just did nothing but eat and drink.
Perfect.
You took me with her as well.
Huh?
Spent time with your mum and dad.
Yeah.
Hang on, I don't know who you were saying yes to.
You.
Me. Is that what you're gonna say? Shannon, nobody's listening.
I didn't hear what she said.
I said you took me and Nikki with you as well.
Oh, I did, yeah. And they really enjoyed it, so yeah. We went on some walks and we did some touristy stuff, and I used them as my weights. It was great.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were going to take your like sports kit and stuff and do some running. Did you? Or
I didn't run, but I absolutely smashed the steps. It was really funny because my dad's got the same watch as me, and I moan all the time about it being really tight on giving you steps, as Shannon will know.
Yeah.
And my mum's got a Fitbit, so we're there and we're walking exactly the same, maybe strides a bit different, so you'd expect a little bit different. And my mum's like 5,000 steps ahead of us every day. So me and my dad
pick up on like vibrations and everything. Like you can move the arm and it's just picking up a step. It's mad.
So me and my dad started going on sneaky walks while she wasn't looking. Try and average out the steps. So she'd be in a shop queuing for something, and we'd be walking around the square like trying to get our steps up. So that was really positive.
I love that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
A bit of family competition.
She still beat us, but that's just because she's got a Fitbit.
Yeah, my dad replaced his Fitbit with another Fitbit, and I was just like, "Oh, Dad." I think my dad did what I did last week. Actually, he bought a 65-inch TV, bought a Google Chrome, took out BT Sport, and upgraded his Fitbit. And I was just like, somebody's obviously had a little reward with his pension somewhere along the way. Spending my inheritance. How dare he?
You'll inherit a Fitbit, a 65-inch.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time, Rhiannon.
Shannon had a good time too.
Yeah, Shannon, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you had a good time, Nikki.
Oh, thank you.
So, Rhiannon, maybe you can kind of kick off our discussion.
Kick off being a really good word there.
Yeah, because we said that body image, and also we picked up on what the health authorities tell us our weight should be. But your post, your story, was the kind of kickoff for that. So, do you want to share with the world?
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it yet. Yeah, while I was on holiday, I decided to order myself some new gym wear because there was a sale on. And I should probably learn from my own mistakes because I've ordered stuff from them before and it's not been quite right, but it's never been that bad. But I got home and bearing in mind I'm holding a little bit of holiday water weight. I wouldn't say it's a lot. I tried on my protein sports bra order, and well, the only way, like if you've seen a video of a sausage being stuffed, like that was what it looked like me trying to get this sports bra on.
You're a beautiful sausage.
I mean, I'm the
You
best.
are a beautiful sausage.
Find, but like,
that's lovely.
If like you guys only saw it once it was on, like the struggle of me trying to get it on was real. And I think for me, if I wasn't in such a strong place mentally, that could be enough to throw off my whole journey, because I know I'm an extra large. I know I'm blessed in certain areas, but
big
I
hands.
should be able to
should
shop.
get big hands.
Yeah,
big
Big
personality.
hands.
But I should be able to wear something that is extra large, something that's true to size, something that like every other shop I shop in, an extra large sports bra fits, or like is a little bit snug, but I can get it on relatively easily. My protein, the only thing I can say is it must be a small. Like, it was ridiculous. And like I said, I know it's them and not me. It's one of those typical breakup lines. It's not me, it's you. It's not you, it's me. I don't know, but
yeah, no, so you should never say that in a breakup. It's not me, it's you.
No, you've got to be honest with these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know it's them, and luckily I'm in a really good headspace. I've got people around me that will tell me if I am getting fat, like. So
I'll call you a beautiful sausage. That's
yeah, call me a beautiful sausage. It's not the worst thing I've been called in my time, but yeah, it was awful, and I think it highlights a lot of things, like women's clothing sizes anyway, I'm sure the others will agree, are awful.
Yeah,
but someone who's trying to do a fitness journey, that could be enough to put someone off, and that's ridiculous. And I'll stop talking in a minute, but it got worse. So I put my rant up on Instagram, I tagged them in it so that they knew that I wasn't happy. And they had the audacity today to just respond with a love heart.
They've clearly not read it. They've just went, oh, someone's mentioned in a story, let's like that. That's basically all
Yeah,
they've
and
done.
I think if you're going to take the time to respond to an Instagram story,
Pay attention.
look at what you're responding to. Because in my story it says, my protein, making women feel like sausages. Like, you know, that's not a positive thing. And for them to put a love heart, it's one of two things. Either they're really happy that I don't fit into an extra large, or they've just not bothered to read it, and both scenarios are awful.
Mhm.
So I did send them back my wrath, and we'll see what they say.
So I wonder if, have you, and I'm not trying to use some weight behind a man that's got a lot of followers, but have you tagged James or Dylan in it?
No.
Because you want my protein to come fucking down, the JSA community will rally.
Yeah.
You know, the 22,000 members will rally. I've seen and heard things.
They've rallied already.
You know, sending things like Tupperware with human feces in to companies.
I
There
don't know if it's that
was a
serious.
case back in the time, but you know, so yeah, I would we don't need to get James Adair involved, but you know, I think the JSA community can rally with a few resharing of that post, or you know, because that is not right. There should be a common sizing between a sports company and a normal clothing company and a fashion brand. You know, it should just be standard, so that you know what, if you choose a size, that's what the sizing is, because people are making it up.
Wasn't it Corley yesterday shared about the size 8 or size 10 in different countries, and how they Photoshop the one woman to like conform to the different sizes?
Yep.
In each country.
It happens in so many shops, so there's so many high street brands like that.
Well, and then like I know here in the US, do you guys have Lane Bryant? Do you have that brand overseas for the women? It might be just a US brand. So what they did, they thought they were being clever, is that like they knew women didn't want to walk in a store and say, oh, I'm a size 24, oh, I'm a size 28. So they created a curvy line where they made their own sizes up, so you had to know your inches, and then they would say, oh, you're a curve 4, you're a curve 2. It was really just renaming a size 18, 22, 24 to something that sounded better, because it's nicer to say, oh, I went in the store and I bought a curve 4 than to say I'm a size 24 jean or whatever that was. And it was just so confusing. And I was like, maybe instead of like rebranding the name because it's shameful to say I'm a 24, maybe just do an ad campaign where women can own, I'm a 24 and these jeans look great on me. I'm a 28 and I look damn good in these. Like maybe like, instead of just hiding it in a different name, I was like, you're still the size you are. You can call it any name you want. You're still the size you are. So why not take away the stigma and just let people feel beautiful at the size they're at while working on it or not working on whatever you're doing, than to put like a cutesy name on it and try to like, don't worry, you don't need to be ashamed anymore because we changed the name. It just bugged me. It bugged me so bad.
I just think there's so much talk about like body positivity and like positive image and, you know, owning your shit, and, you know, like I won a sports bra in a Wear the Sports Bra campaign. Like, you know, don't feel ashamed to work out in the gym in your sports bra because it's hot. Like, that's fine. I don't care. And then like Gymshark obviously got massive, like slated massively for their post. I wouldn't even dare buy something from Gymshark because I don't believe that their sizes are true to size either. So
then My Protein, like all their sponsored athletes that aren't athletes at all, they're all like size 6s, size 8s, and like I'm not the biggest, but I wouldn't, like I sent you and Nikki the video today of me in a small sports bra. And I normally I'm a extra small in sports bras because I'm not gifted like you.
Big fans.
Big hands.
But like again, I felt like I was a sausage in it. Like, do you know the way you have like the roll between like your armpit and like your
But that's normal. That's okay, and that's normal.
It's okay.
That's another issue.
Is an issue.
My boob was that squashed that it was here. I was like,
Well, no, but even to put another spin on it, is not actually doing the job it's there to do. If it's doing that, if it's cutting in or if it's not providing the correct support, a bra is meant to be functional for reasons, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the fact that those bras are £20 or thereabouts, and you're expecting whenever you're paying that sort of money that you're going to get something that does what it's supposed to do.
So we could end up down another rabbit hole there of the costing of women's bras, couldn't you? So
please.
But I mean, Shannon, we cannot talk here. This has a conversation for Lauren again.
I think I can talk. I'm quite but I think it's there's a whole need to campaign and change and come up with common sizing and and I believe that men and women should combat, because Chris, you're tall like me, and unless you can, if you buy a tall length t-shirt, they're short.
Well, the t-shirts I wear, these Vanquish ones, they've got the tail at the front and the back, and if I buy off My Protein, they sit above waistline, even though it's a large, and this is a large and it's long, it goes down the tail at the back and the tail at the front, and unless I buy it from specific retailers, the t-shirts don't fit because I'm tall. I've got quite a long torso, so they just don't fit. And some website, My Protein's a prime example, I need to buy an extra large off them, but in other retailers I'm a large.
But and then when you're tall, and you go up a sizing, it's not just that, it's that way that you get.
Yeah.
So then they end up not being the correct fit, and they're gaping underneath the arms.
Yeah.
But just because you need an extra, 2 inches on the bottom.
Correct.
And that means that I have to go to specific retailers. It means I can't buy fashionable brands, because they're just not long enough. And even though I've come down from being a 3 or a 4XL tall to an extra large tall, I still have to buy a tall range, but that's not available in standard stuff.
There's a few shirts I've had to buy for work, because when I go to customer meetings or whatever, I need to buy a size up and then take it to a tailor to get them to take it in. Otherwise, I'm just wearing a baggy shirt. And if I go the size down, it's too... Yeah, exactly. I look like the guy from Big, and he's walking down the street with a big shoe suit on. But if I buy the size I'm supposed to fit into, it ends up, it's all stretchy and doesn't fit right. And
where'd you buy that suit? The toilet shop?
And I've got a friend who's rather short, and another friend, Shannon, not yourself.
You're going to say me there?
No, but he has to roll his trousers up on the bottom.
I was going to say, I've always had issues with jeans, getting them the right length. Women's jeans now seem to do the leg length. I can't say that. Fuck.
Leg length.
But if they're not purposely cropped, and even normal length, but cropped is about the right size. But if not, they're around my fucking ankles.
That is why I love Topshop's jeans, because they do by waist size and leg length,
exactly,
rather than your actual size.
Well, and here's the other thing that cracks me up about jeans is, so if you're plus size, right? Longest time I was always in the plus size range, 16, 18, 20. So they'd make it, I'm a 20, right? So the waist is big enough for me, but they would make the crotch length like this. And I'm like, bitch, if my ass is big enough that I need a 22, I'm going to need more room than this in the front between my vagine and my waist. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is the logic? Like, who has this, is this wide, but has like a flat stomach? And nobody, no one. Like, so what was the logic here? Like, I would shove it up and I'm like, great, half my rear's hanging out. Like, it's wide enough, but like half my ass crack's hanging out. I'm in work right now. Half my ass crack. Like, who did that? Who's on your team? Is anybody plus size on your team? Like, it would make me crazy. I was like, could you just hire me? Could you just hire me to design these? Because you're a mess. You're a mess.
While we're on this, and I know it's slightly related, it's not, but women's jean size pockets that are like this fucking deep. Like,
correct.
What the
Well,
fuck?
it's because we all
Those have got bigger.
We do not do
Some
that.
don't. Some of us king hate bags because we're clumsy and we leave them in places, okay? Some of us don't do that.
Correct.
Some of us aren't girly enough to do that and will never be.
I'm like, what am I
Those
putting in
have
that
got
pocket?
bigger, pockets have got smaller. What the fuck?
Coin.
Right. Or fake pockets. It looks like a pocket, but it's stitched.
Yeah.
They're the
Why?
worst fucking things.
They're the
Why?
devil. They pockets are the devil. I hate them.
Oh.
That happens. See what you're saying there, Nicky. That happens in guys' jeans as well.
You
So
go to put something, you're like,
you can't half the jeans I've got. I can't even fit my phone in it.
Yeah.
The phone pops out the top. I'm what the fuck? Seriously?
I thought men's jeans were a bit better, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Some of them aren't. I buy
Yeah.
Levi 511s, and
Yeah.
it's the only ones I can get that don't show as if I've got no arse. Because other jeans that I buy, I've just got no ass in it, just fucking flat. So I buy 511s, slim fit, not skinny, because who wears skinny jeans other than the guy for Green Day? No idea who else wears fucking skinny jeans. And I buy the slim fit ones, and the pockets are tiny. You can't even fit a can of Coke in it. It's tiny.
Fucking crap.
who puts a can of Coke in their jeans? What? That was a very odd reference.
Yeah.
The guy
I've always got a can.
have it, Lauren. Like,
It's not just that. It's in Scotland. It was the 750 glass bottles in the back pocket.
It was, yeah. A half taker of Buckfast used to go in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Chris is the guy from the Diet Coke advert.
That one.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I don't want
So the message is: can you please start actually thinking about your customers when you're creating your sizing, and can you uniform it, please, between yourselves?
Even if they uniformed it like between countries, because I have a pair of size 10 UK that I got in the US just before Christmas, and like I was nearly a size 12 just after Christmas, and they're too big on me, which isn't a bad complaint, but it's the fact that I was going into a size 12 and a size 10 was too big on me, and then I have a size 10 from Australia and it's too small. Like, they're all different because apparently an Australian body frame is smaller than what a UK is, and it's just crazy.
Makes shopping really hard. Like, I was buying some work trousers when I was in Poland last week, and obviously they're European sizes, and that's a whole different ball game anyway. And I'm there going, right, conversion chart. Okay, I should be this size. I'm trying them on and they're massive. Okay, right, I should be this size, and I'm trying them on and they don't fit. Yet they're the same size, just different styles of trousers.
I hate.
Well, that's like when I see some of these when I see some of these companies that are Asian, I don't even bother because everything's cut in that like Asian slim fit, and like if you got boobs, you get the top, and I'm like, nope, stripper top, can't do it. Like it won't fit over the boob. Like it's not gonna happen.
Sausage.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. That's my problem with H&M. Those. Oh, go on, Jack.
Yeah, or the arms. It's like thunk, and I just hulk out, and it rips, and not gonna happen.
Primark is rife for it.
I was those jeans like 2 sizes up just to fit my arms in, and like, that's only going to get worse as I train them more.
That was the problem with those jeans. So they were 14. I'd normally be about, well, before JSA, I'd be about a size 12, but then could also fit in a 10 from H&M as well. So in the same shop, different jeans, some would be a 10 and some would be a 14. And you'd think maybe the skinny ones you'd be the biggest size in because they're tighter, but no, it was the boyfriend, big baggy fuckers that I had to be in the biggest size. And it's just, it fucks you over mentally. It, like, granted a bit better now, but yeah, it really fucks you up thinking you can be anywhere from crazy sizes. Like, I used to be so fixated on numbers. I had to be this size because if not, it was ridiculous. Those jeans were a bit of a turning point mentally for me, and I went, right, I'm cutting the fucking label out, fuck this shit. But it's bonkers.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to waste my time and energy to go beg a brand to make my size. Like, if you don't sell my size, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to go give my money over to like Old Navy or whoever makes something that I know I can go in for a good price, get my thing and done. I don't have the time to sit and like write emails to like Nike or whoever and be like, oh, how come you don't fit my size? I don't care. I'll go find the person who does and give them I'd rather give it to the business that readily accepts there's people this size, has a merchandise for it, has a line for it, than to like beg. Because some of these other companies will like start a plus size line and it's like barely plus. It's like a bullshit plus size just so they can say they do it to get like street cred. And I'm like, no, this is you did this is bullshit. So I would rather find
High Protein do an XL. I think it's literally an exercise to say we do an XL.
Absolutely.
Because there's no way it fits an XL.
Yep. For a short period of time, Victoria's Secret did that. They were like, oh, for our plus size beauties. And I checked their stuff out and I was like, if I put that on, all my shit would be hanging out. Absolutely not. Like, it was literally just for street cred. I was like, no, this is like, I would actually, like, this is like streetwalker wear. I was like, no, this is not. It was just for street cred. And I was just like, if you're going to do it, then do it. Pull the trigger and do it and live behind the ethics of what you're trying to do and the brand and the crowd you're trying to get. Let's like, what brand a while ago, Abercrombie came out and they were in hot water because the CEO was like, our brand isn't for fat people. And I was just like, okay. Like, people like, oh, they were in an uproar and wanted them to start making plus sizes. And I was just like, I'll go. You said all you needed to say. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to give my money elsewhere. So like,
yeah. I'd almost rather they just said, do you know what? We don't cater for your size. Fine.
Correct.
I'll shop at Fabletics. I'll shop at Slaywear. I'll shop at, all these other places that do.
Correct. There's a brand in
draw me in with this false sense of security and then.
Exactly. There's a brand here in the US called Hollister. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
Hollister their jeans are this big. I mean, they're just like these little,
yes.
They're ridiculous. They're for like 15. They're for like 15-year-olds. Like,
you could also go into what Hollister's recruitment policy is. Then,
oh yeah,
because they actually have a recruitment policy.
I literally never walked into the store because I just glanced. I'm like, no, they're not catering to me. They don't want my business, and that's
they turn the lights down so you can't see the stuff anyway.
Yeah, it's
no good lighting.
My mum went in there with head torches once with her friends. They actually went in with proper fucking camping head torches. That's Hollister. We're good.
Okay, so I guess that moving on then, so there is a clear message, sort your effing sizing out. We're making every attempt to come down in size. If you can just help us along the way, because do you know what? We're losing weight. We have to spend a lot of money on clothes because we keep having to buy new stuff. So if you want some more customers and regular customers, wink, wink, anyway, but so I brought up the thing, and I think I mentioned it last week, and we agreed to kind of bring it up in our topic of conversation about what our ideal weight would be, because I was looking at mine and I thought, well, why have I picked 120 kilograms to be my goal weight? It's kind of going back. I'm basing it on 2 sports stars that are my height and similar build and what their weight is and where I would be comfortable with coming down to. But I thought, I wonder what my ideal weight should be. So I Googled it and I found one website and it was like ridiculous at like, I think mine was 80 kilograms. And I was like, oh, in between this range, which we'll come on to. And I was like, no way, that's just impossible. It was 30 kilograms below where I thought it was going to go, 30 kilograms below these sports boxing stars, super fit, slim people. How can you expect somebody of that height to get down to that weight? I would be, and I think the common thing that we said because we all did it this week, we've all put our ideal weight in, was that's ridiculous, that's stupid, that's impossible. I'd have to be anorexic, I'd have to lose a limb. There was all these comments, and I just thought it was ridiculous that where that is out there as a message from the NHS or from health boards, World Health Board, things like that are saying this should be your ideal weight, and they're just copying it. And there's 4 different scientific methods that are used for it, and they all differ slightly. But it was just astonishing. I thought there's no way, and I thought, I wonder if it was just because they hadn't thought about the tall person. But I've asked, there's a range of sizes on a podcast, and you guys did it as well. What did you find from that?
Mine came out. Sorry, Nick, can you go?
No, go on.
Mine my weight when I started the first ever challenge in 2018 was 110 kilograms, which was about 18 stone, roughly, I think. And I'm now 95 kilograms, which is about 15 stone, give or take. And it's telling me my range is between, it's not far off at the top end, it says 93 kilograms. So it's 2 kilograms of a difference at the top end, but the bottom end is 69 kilograms. So that's 20
crazy.
kilograms of a difference, which would mean I'd be 10.5 stone, which is about, I don't know, about 150 pounds.
Mine's a 20 kilogram difference as well, the BMI. I'm just on the top end of it, just from losing this weight now. But then there's 20 kilograms to go that I could still be healthy. Honestly, if you'd have shown me this at the end of the last challenge, I would have done. It's pretty fucking triggering, I think.
But then interestingly, you've hit the top end the same way I've hit the top end roughly.
Yeah.
And that's the way we wanted to get to, but they're saying, no, it could be another 20 kilos less.
I could be another 20 kilos. I mean, I'd lose a leg or something. Honestly, I mean, I've come away, I've done a whole mindset fucking journey with coming away from caring what the weight on the scale says. I know I've got to a number that I thought was okay, and I'm now sitting roughly somewhere below that, and I think that's part of it. But to see that and to go, I could be classed as healthy, 18 kilograms less. That's crazy. That's a bit scary, really. I mean, I'm very average height, I think, but you know, it's terrifying.
The biggest problem with that, I find, though, is if you go for your health insurance here in the UK, especially, if you go for your health insurance, it impacts what you're going to be spending on your health insurance if you're above what they deem as being overweight. I think Jay Alderton did a classic, was it last year or 18 months ago? Jay Alderton's absolutely fucking shredded, and he went to the health clinic to get his health checkup done, and they told him he was obese based on his BMI, and he's like, no, hold on a minute. What's that?
I've been told that with my diabetes, obviously I've been in clinics my whole life, and they base you on that from the day you enter the clinic. And I've been told that whenever I was like 13, 14, and I was doing 5, 6 different sports. I was a healthy teenager, but because I'm so short, I was classified as being overweight, obese. Like
that as a teenage girl could fuck you up.
I was in my ideal BMI, I'd be 7 stone. Like, where in your right mind would that be healthy? I wouldn't have a healthy functioning period. I'd have, like, there'd be so many other health conditions that I would have to add on top of being so underweight. Like, couldn't be healthy.
And there's a presumption with that number, right? So for both of my pregnancies, I had 2 fabulous pregnancies. Healthy, beautiful deliveries, not a blip, nothing. But every time I walked into that, because I was very strict with myself, I ate really healthy, I kept myself moving, like I really took brilliant care of myself because I knew I was going into the pregnancies overweight. And every time I walked into the office, if I got a new nurse, she'd be like, how's your diabetes? I was like, I don't have gestational diabetes. And they'd be like, oh, your blood pressure's probably through the roof. I was like, nope, my blood pressure's good. There was a presumption because I was the size I was that my health must be a disaster as soon as they were going to do tests. And I had 2 great pregnancies. That's not to say there aren't women who are plus size who struggle through pregnancy because they're super unhealthy, but you can't classify people by a number. You can't look at that number on the scale and assume this person's a disaster or assume they're doing great. You know what I mean? Like diabetes is a classic one. Shannon, I would never guess, like, looking at you that you have diabetes, right? Like you can't do that game, like that health with people.
It's a 3.5.
On the flip side of that, though, sorry?
That's a 3.5 stone swing.
Yeah.
I've just been sat in my head doing maths. And that's in that range for each of us is a 3.5 stone swing that you're saying that's healthy. Well,
20% decrease in weight. I've just worked it out for mine roughly. That's ridiculous. That's scary.
At my height, they want me on the chart or whatever, the way somewhere in the range of 115 to 120 pounds. I haven't weighed that since I was probably in like first grade. but legit, like there's no way. My body's literally not capable of being that size between genetics and like everything else. So, you know, that's like 40 pounds more off of my frame now. That's crazy to me.
But the scary thing is, on the flip side of that, it's if someone who is new to a fitness journey are trying to lose weight and they see that, they think, right, I need to be that weight, and then they fall pregnant. They're very unhealthy at that weight to be carrying a child, surely. They're going to be 20 kilograms under where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's just absolutely fucking nuts to think that's information is put out there.
That's
terrifying.
About having a healthy period because having done triathlon and followed triathlon, it's the women who drop especially triathletes, are dropping weight to like sometimes really low levels because it matters in endurance sport. A lot of those women can't have a healthy period and then will struggle to have children because they're at too low a body weight. Because your body your body needs some fat to be able to be childbearing.
Ian speaks of it, because of like you're gonna carry a child, you need fat on your hips.
Yeah. That was the first time, honestly, when I first found James Smith, that was what turned me on the most. Is I happened to catch him on one of his things talking about women's health, and I saw one of his lives, and somebody was asking about, I'm 5 weeks postpartum, I want to get back into the thing, and he was like, you're 5 weeks postpartum, like, nourish your baby, nourish your body, like, don't worry about that piece yet. And I respected that immensely because there was just so much this pressure in Hollywood and TV and whatever, and like, to bounce back and all that bullshit. And he was like, you have time, like, focus on you and your baby. That'll, like, go for a walk maybe, but like, you need to nurse, you need to do all these other things. And I just respected that immensely because, it's just, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think go on.
No, sorry, go on.
Oh, it's kind of related. It's that I've never really, as a kid, or I don't want to say kid, but even going through uni, I don't think I ever weighed myself. Wasn't first put on a bit of weight through uni because alcohol. And there's one point in my life that I only remember ever being shamed weight-wise, and I've never been that much bigger than I was at the start of the JSA. But I remember the nurse, after, just for like going on some periods, every now and again when you get your pill check, I think it's every 6 months, and they weigh you, take your blood pressure, yada yada. I think I had this appointment sort of mid-exam season, pretty stressful. It was partway through the day already, so I'd already eaten. I was in a pretty fucking stressful time. Stepped on the scales, having never take a fucking interest in the numbers, because at that time it didn't matter. Education was more important, and that was what mattered. And I had the nurse, I stepped on the scales, obviously fully clothed and could have been wearing different things last time. Stepped on, she went, you've put on a bit of weight since last time, haven't you? I'm kidding. Are you fucking kidding? I've got exams in 2 days. I am eating because I need energy. Are you fucking kidding? And it set me off. Didn't last very long because I ate and I had exams and that was it. But it scares me how readily available that information is, and how weight is such an important fact. I couldn't tell you how much it was, and I couldn't tell you what I looked like. I don't know. I haven't got any idea, but it's like, that's how detrimental that can be. It's easy. I'm like, reading that to say I could be 20 kilograms less. That's scary. Like Lauren said, I don't think I'd ever be 20 kilograms less.
Well, and like, if you want like a really funny story, like a very quick one. So, I just wish it plays back to, like, I wish that in healthcare and with health practitioners or physical therapists or personal trainers, it could just be a more open dialogue and not so like touchy. Because like I had seen a doctor for a while. This is before kids. And I had the same doctor, and she was always kind of weird about talking about weight. Like, she didn't want to hurt my feelings or like whatever about it. But I've always been plus size, so I didn't really give shit. So anyway, I wasn't feeling well, blah, blah, blah. Took a pregnancy test. I was pregnant. This is when I got pregnant with my daughter. So I go to see her, and I was like, I don't understand. I'm on birth control. Like, how did this happen? She's like, which one are you on? I said, orthotricycline low. And she goes, that's only for this weight bracket. If you're way more than this weight bracket, the efficacy, like the reliability goes down. And I was like, that's good information that would have been helpful prior to me getting pregnant. Like, maybe we should have, like, did you not realize? Like, and of course, it was a happy accident, and my daughter was great. But like, at the time, I was like, this is a cover. You didn't think this was important to tell me? She was like, oh yeah, that was probably because of your weight. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm already pregnant now. But
that's why they do these weight checks. Like,
right. And I was like, you weigh me every appointment. This was my OBGYN. Like, this was a GYN.
You pay for your health care, do you not?
Oh yeah.
I'm fucking raging.
Oh yeah. I was like, so can I charge you for all the costs related to this pregnancy? Because this is your fault. But it just goes to show you that happened because she was so weird about talking about weight. She couldn't be like, you're a little heavier, you should be on this dosage, or you should be on a different kind now. So
I had a instance with my doctor, and it's not, to be fair, it's not pregnancy related, but I went to see my doctor. I'd lost 4 stone, and I was gymming really hard, and I had pain in my foot, and I went to see my doctor, and I was sort of talking her through it. And bearing in mind, she's got my like weight history again from like pill checks and stuff. And the first thing she said was, it might be because of your weight. It might be because you're heavy. And I was like, right, where are you going with this? She was like, maybe if you lost a bit of weight, at which point I saw red. And I was like, I'm not being funny, but since the last time I've been in here, I've lost 4 stone. I didn't have this problem with my foot before. And now you're telling me it's because I'm heavy. And she was like, oh yeah, well, you know, just keep going with that. And I was like,
And
how
listen,
dare you judge me because I am heavy? I'm 4 stone lighter than I was. I'm coming to you with an issue. Don't just tell me it's because I'm heavy.
sure.
It's a
But
common-
as somebody, I
common
have to
thing.
say, I just have to say, as somebody who works in healthcare, I can't tell you how many times I've sat across from a patient who's at the hospital, who's ordered 3 breakfast trays full of like bacon, eggs, cheese, fried, whatever, who is like pushing 400 pounds, and they're livid that we haven't controlled their back pain. Livid. And I'm like, and so like
If
it has
I'd
to be a
have gone
partner, but it has to be a partnership. So like your doctor knows you, your doctor knows your history. She shouldn't have walked in and judged you because she knows,
Exactly.
oh,
If
so
I'd
it
have
has
gone
to be a
in and
partnership.
I put 4 stone on, fine.
Exactly.
But the
Exactly.
fact that I weighed 4 stone less than the last time I was in there, like, madness to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that generalization that because my BMI's high, that must be the problem because I'm carrying more weight.
It's got, I mean, even when I was speaking to my dad last week, you know, and his, you know, he's been going, I can't even remember what he's going for, but the doctor's response is, well, you're 65 now.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, why does my age, okay, I am going to start to break down in my body, you know, but can we actually look at the issue, please? It's not just, you know, it's not just my age. My age might be the reason, but can we do something about it? You know, there's, yeah, if my weight's the issue, then, you know, have a chat with me. If it's, you know, I mean, I've got even worse story than that is, so my friend's mum had a brain tumor, and for 12 weeks prior to them actually diagnosing it was a brain tumor, her doctor sent her home on painkillers every single time and didn't even order a brain scan. And it's like, you know, actually, if you'd picked up on it, maybe something could have been done. Maybe something couldn't have, but you were going, take Nurofen, take Nurofen, take Nurofen, you know. So
that happened a girl in my class until she collapsed and had to get blue lighted from my hometown, just outside of Omagh, to Belfast, which is like an hour and a half's drive. Like, and that was about 4 years ago, and she had complained of severe headaches for about maybe a year, and they just palmed it off as well.
If somebody's coming back to you regularly saying they're still there, have a look. Right? You know, it's just it seems to be too easy to say. And I'm not blaming it. I've had some really good doctors, and I've had some that are just not willing to look at it. And you know that GPs are multi-skilled, and they're there as really as a decision of should we refer them to X, Y, or Z. But there has to be some limits and some lines to, you know, to how things are looked at. But I guess that's a whole nother discussion. And you know, and you know, just to re-emphasize, there are some brilliant healthcare, you know, out there, and people that actually, you know, there's those that are in healthcare because it's a not an occupation, a
calling, like a passion.
Passion. And
I'm going to add in that I believe that some things slip through the net in the NHS anyway, for the fact of that they're very overworked. And they're just mentally tired. So like we all know what it's like on a day-to-day basis where we're tired and things slip through the net, like it's only going to happen to them.
Absolutely, especially this time, the NHS as a whole are doing a brilliant job. The care workers are doing a brilliant job. So we're definitely not going down that road at the moment. It's you know, but I don't even know how we got here, but there's your weight is an important factor in people's health, but it's not always the defining factor.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily about slamming the doctors or anything like that. It's the overall advice that they get. They get that this BMI should be this. You know, that's how they're taught. And we get it. If we look on the NHS or government website or whatever, like at what our weight range should be, that's where the education needs to be.
Yeah, it should be just a guideline, not a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
And if it is a guideline, make sure it's realistic.
Yeah.
It's actually what people's weight should be. Yeah, and if you're weighing yourself and you're carrying more muscle, you're going to be a bit heavier. You know?
Yeah.
It's and people who carry too much muscle can also have the same fat problems as fat that they carry.
Yeah.
And like the NHS have a website now where you can find out how many calories you should eat to be in a deficit. And my friend does that. So she looked at it on that, and she's followed that, and she's done really well, and she's lost loads of weight, and she's looking fantastic. But she could quite easily rebound because it's not a sustainable deficit. So I don't quite know where they're getting this information from.
Somebody posted on the JSA group yesterday about the 800 cal diet or something.
Oh, I saw that.
And someone had said that it's not sustainable, but then I'd seen Mike who commented saying that it actually is, because they stay on the 800 calories or something for a year, I think it was, he said. And then they're, at the same time, they're teaching them about calories, so then they can reintroduce it after the year into their life.
Yeah.
So how long are they on 800 calories?
A year.
Per year.
800 a day for a year. Fuck off.
There's more in my morning coffee.
I had that for breakfast this morning.
So
My
that's
breakfast was 800
My
calories.
BMR is more than 800 calories. I need more than that to live.
That's mad.
The big
So I've heard of people doing the 5-2 diet, but they have, like, say, 2,000 calories a day for 5 days and 500 for 2 days. But that's just their way of getting their deficit. I've seen that.
Well,
But that,
and that's like, I think I posted, or I brought it up in a different podcast. Here in the U.S., they prove that if you're a child under the age of 18 and your BMI is over like XYZ for your weight, for your height, you can get approved for bariatric surgery now. And I was horrified. Yeah. So if you're under the age of 18 with parent permission, you can have bariatric surgery now if your BMI doesn't fit, like whatever. And I was like, what are we teaching a 14-year-old who's like dramatically overweight, or 10-year-old or whatever? That would have been me. I mean, we're teaching them you need surgery to be able to, I mean, you are the most flexible and changeable and adaptable as a child. That's the easiest time to change a habit, to change your body, to get those good habits. And we're teaching them, no, you can't do it on your own. You need a surgery to achieve it. And I was just so angry when I saw that. It was just
not just that, it would make them think to themselves, oh, it's okay, I'll just get the surgery when I'm older.
Correct. It's a moneymaker. It's a moneymaker.
Well, talking of advertisers and things, so I don't know if I saw an advert last night for Zoopla, and the child in the advert must be 10 or 12 and is weighing 3 times the amount that child should weigh. And Zoopla have gotten featured in there as jumping on the bed, and it's like, I think the message is something like, when they find the right house for you, you're able to act like Stephen or whatever it is. And I thought, is that the size of our children? Is that not maybe a low size we use it, but is that the average size of our children now? In which case, we've got a lot of problems coming, because the way that parents have fed their children and allowed them to have, and made a lot of choices about and if that's what's coming, and if that's now normalized because it's on an advert, what messages, psychological messages is that sending? And the way the child jumps onto the bed, I don't actually believe that child was able to jump on the bed like that. So and that I just thought, because I'm not saying we should promote the skinny child or whatever, but I just thought we've normalized that size now, and I just thought it was quite.
I've seen family members of mine, and they've seen I've been a little bit frustrated about it, but not said anything. And so the family members in question are quite heavy, and they've had a 2 or 3 year old kid, and I've handed them a full fat McDonald's Coke, and they've only been 2 or 3 years old. Now kids at with large, full fat, 8 years old, just having a drink of juice, and I'm thinking you're just handing that to your kid, and they're already quite overweight. And now you see that kid 5 years later, who's now 7 or 8 years old, and they can't go out and play with their friends the normally way usual kids would, because they're just too overweight. They can't keep up. You see them wearing, they're having to wear 14-year-old kids' clothes because they don't fit into 9-year-old kids' clothes because they're too big. And I don't know, things like that just annoy me when the parents could be in control of helping that situation. And it's not always the case. I'm not saying it's always the parents' fault, but there's a situation where parents have control over helping their kids not pick up those bad habits. And just looking at those parents I'm talking about, they're that bad way anyway, so they're just passing that on to their kids. And there's an element of control and responsibility to the parents to stop that from happening from time to time. It's not always the case. Sometimes I've seen skinny parents and slim parents with heavy set kids. It happens. There might be other things for that, but you can clearly see from that kid's life, they've always been fed too much when they've been that age, and it's the way things sometimes it's going, which is a shame.
So deep and meaningful there. So are we've aired a disgruntlement across that subject. Yeah, so is there anything more to add, or should we wrap it up?
Are we doing filters or?
I think we discussed that, I think, in one of the earlier episodes, didn't we? Like filters and Instagram.
Yeah, I think Fiona brought that one up, didn't she?
Yeah. Where we discussed that, good lighting, all of that stuff, with people trying to make their Instagram posts. I mean, if there's a topic of discussion around it, we can discuss that. I just don't want to end up down a rabbit hole where.
I think we're in danger of that today.
Yeah.
We've opened a lot of cans of worms in different subjects.
Yeah.
I think the thing is they're starting to look at bringing in this hashtag filtered or hashtag edited or whatever it is. I can't remember what the hashtag is. And I think that's really good, especially when you're looking at paid posts and, those people that you call influencers, knowing that their photos are edited as much as you already know by looking at it, but them having to admit that it's edited.
But they have to admit it's edited?
No, they're looking at bringing that in.
But that's an automatic. That's not going to be an automatic thing, is it? They're going to have to type hashtag edited.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that.
Get called out if it's the same as hashtag ad. If you get found that you haven't put it, then you get in trouble.
Yeah. And, well, we'll see where that goes. Well, thank you for listening to our disgruntlement.
It's a bit of a change from the spider last week, isn't it?
It is a bit of a change. We've gone back to serious. We can be back to serious. If anybody's got any thoughts, they can always comment and share it on your stories. Please go and have a go at my protein, because that wasn't right, and all the other ones that we've mentioned. We will be back next week, hopefully with a near enough a full squad, maybe for the kind of end of challenge update where we are. It's been a long 12 weeks for a lot of people. I know it's probably been a long 12 weeks for our listeners. Good luck for your last couple of days and your final pictures. I'm sure that if you've got this far, you've done brilliantly. And hopefully the podcast has helped you keep going throughout it. We'll try and make it kind of nice, lightheartedly next week. And
a drink.
We might have a drink.
Yes.
Party poppers.
But yeah, if anybody's got anything they want us to discuss, you know where we are. And we appreciate everybody kind of sticking with us for the 12 weeks. So yeah, thank you very much. And we'll speak to you next week.